Hi, welcome to the Kachmann Wellness Show. Today, this half hour usually is about preventing and reversing diabetes, and that's what we're going to do. Matter of fact, diabetes causes 200 or so diseases. They can be prevented or reversed 90% of the time, to the point that Rudy has declared war on diabetes. Yes, the community public health is not doing its job and getting out and spreading the word. It appears to me they want you to have disease so that the hospitals can make a lot of money. That's happening, and I don't mind saying it. What would you say that is? Is that bad? Is it criminal? I don't see how you look at it. But diabetics, what happens to them? Let's review a little bit. What happens to diabetics? They develop dementia, Alzheimer's disease. They can grab their chest and die of a heart attack. They can have lung disease. Kidney disease is 80% or so related to diabetes. The diabetic centers, dialysis centers, are not telling you that you could prevent the problem of getting rid of your diabetes, eating more correctly. They don't tell you that. They want you to get dialyzed. But once you get dialyzed, year or two, not 100%, but a lot of people are dead by that time. And dialysis involves you going to the place, or you do it in your house, occupies many hours. You want to avoid that. Get no diabetes, your odds of getting kidney disease goes way down. That's why I declared war. That's why I declared war, and I am not going to stop as long as I can talk. And I appreciate you watching this. I have many other shows on YouTube, incidentally. You just look at Facebook, Apple, any of these places, and you can find my TV shows about diabetes. But let me continue on the things that it causes. Kidney disease, joint disease, most arthritic things, most destruction of cartilages. Almost all people that have joint surgeries were diabetic. Extremely high rates of cancer related to diabetes. Diabetes, cancer is a sugar feeder. Otto Warburg proved that in the 1930s. Yes, that's how long we've known that cancer does anaerobic metabolism, and it takes 13 molecules of sugar to satisfy the appetite of one molecule of cancer. Yeah. So cancer is, and you can look at my other YouTube shows, the one on cancer prevention. 90% of cancer can be avoided. Yeah. Breast cancer, 90% can be avoided by doing proper lifestyle. Yeah. The matter of fact, in 2009, the National Cancer Institute declared that they published 4 million papers, spent $4 billion, and have not discovered that the genetic theory of cancer, breast cancer, it's 20 genes to cause breast cancer, but if you follow a good lifestyle, it can be avoided 90% of the time. That is not what, for example, Vera Bradley, unfortunately, is teaching at the moment, but they're looking at my book on breast cancer. We'll see what Barb Beckhart says. Will they step up to bat and join my war on diabetes? We would save so many lives. We would save so many lives. Let's see if they do it. We could get rid of 90% of breast cancer, 90% of the 200 diseases caused by diabetes. I want Vera Bradley to join me in the war on diabetes. The whole town would become healthy. We have one of the unhealthiest towns. You know that by reading the newspaper. We're 37th in this country. We're now musical city. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? But we need to have a healthy musical city. But I'm working on it. Give me a hand. And if you want to read some of these books, that these cancers, these diseases I mentioned, can be avoided. I tell you, if you get type 2 diabetes, a simple way to get rid of it, okay, and is to read this book, which you could buy on Amazon for $4. Is your life worth $4? Actually, brand new is $35. But I found out if you go to Amazon, look under used books, they mail them back in, and I tell you, the used ones look as good as the old ones. And I was talking to a church group recently, about 15 or 20 of them. Each gave them a copy of this book, and I'll show you in a minute why I like this book. You don't have to do a lot of reading here. You can very quickly get rid of it. And I've had people walk up to me and say, I lost 30 pounds. My diabetes went away. Yes, I've had that happen. And she wrote a book called Simply Keto by Susan Ryan. She has also has YouTube shows, a lot of them. And she has one of the shows, Keto Karma. In other words, that we eat sugar, grab donuts, which even healthy me, age 88, 133 pounds today, would do if it was laid there right now, because doing these shows it takes a little bit of stress. And there's some stress we have every day. And what I like about her book is the first 60 pages or so, she explains to you what keto is. The science is changing, okay? And I'll tell you about the science of keto in a minute. But what I like the most after that, she has pictures of and recipes the rest of the book. Yes, you can see what you're going to eat, and on every page she writes down the amount of fat is in there, how much carbs in, how much protein is in there. Yes, and she tells you how to cook it. Everything is simple, and with hers it's 3 meals a day. You want to double it with hers? I think you get rid of diabetes a month to get this off your back. Avoid 20 diseases, feel healthy, and get the fat out of your liver and pancreas and your body. See that everybody that's overweight is diabetic, maybe 80%. But this one, people don't get at all. It's that 30% of people that are thin can be diabetic. Mm-hmm. What you need to get is not just your blood sugar. You need to get a serum insulin. I had some even last night at dinner tell me, I'm not diabetic. I said, it means nothing to me. I need to know your serum insulin. Okay? Serum insulins are elevated 10, 20 years before the blood sugar ever goes up. And while the insulin level is elevated, changes are occurring in your body. You may not have any symptoms, but you have advanced vascular disease, renal disease. You may grab your chest and die. Serum insulins are important. They should be gotten. They should be gotten in children. We should do serum insulins in children, starting age 2 or 3. That was proven by a guy named Kraft, Joseph Kraft, K-R-E-F-T. You can still see him on YouTube. He's elderly. He's died since that time, age 90-something. But he researched at University of Illinois that there's no such thing as pre-diabetes. If your insulin level is up, you're diabetic. But you can get rid of it in a month. If you eat 2 meals a day, like I do, no reason, I have no disease, weigh 133 pounds today. I'm not doing it for any reason. It's because your body, listen to this, your body secretes about 5 hormones: growth hormone, bowel hormones, and the ghrelin, the appetite hormone in your gut in the mornings is down and keeps your blood sugar very steady. Very steady. Your blood sugar is very steady in the morning, so I don't eat breakfast. I'm not hungry. Then I go play pickleball. 88 years old, not bad, huh? I didn't say you should play it, but I'm saying that's what I do. And I feel great while I'm playing. Matter of fact, when I get done playing around 11 or 12, because of the hormones secreted, because I'm getting exercise, I don't even feel like eating then. But I do eat something. So I eat 2 meals a day. That's the easiest way you will increase the speed of getting rid of diabetes. 2 or 3 weeks. So the simple way, you don't need a lot of information. You don't need a lot of information. Just get this book, $4 to save your life. Or buy it for a friend or your mother, your brother, or your sister. I bought about 15 or 20 of these and gave a lecture to a church. And it didn't cost me much. I bought them, and I see them walking down the street periodically. They run up to me. I lost 30 pounds, and I got rid of my diabetes. You know, the other day, I picked up an award at the Martin Luther King 150th anniversary at the Coliseum. Okay, I'll tell you about that in a minute. And a guy comes up to me who had been one of those church members. Yes. And told me about that. He lost 80 pounds, okay? But that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of the story. But he lost, he came up to thank me. And he started by reading this book, and he believed me, because the thing you convinced me of, that you can get rid of diabetes, you convinced me of that, but you got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind, okay? And to do this, because, I mean, what do these diseases cause? Dementia, amputations, dislocation, kidney disease, lung disease, skin disease. Yes, causes a lot of skin diseases. And but what he had done after that is interesting. And I knew about this, what he was telling me. I didn't know that he was doing it, but I before knew about Virta, V-I-R-T-A, Virta Health, out west. Matter of fact, Sarah Hallberg, a lady doctor from IU, knew this and joined Dr. Finney, and they formed Virta Health. Yeah, you can YouTube, they'll come up. And he had gone there because he had one additional thing, which a lot of people have who are diabetic. They're addicted to the sugar. They're sugar addicts. And he became aware of that, and he realized Virta Health for $300 a month. What's that when the disease going to get you to live 20, 30 years less than you normally would and have a lot of diseases and get amputated? All can be avoided. Virta Health will connect with you through your phone, and they'll virtually talk to you, and he speaks to Virta Health almost every day. I love it because of the safety of it. He doesn't feel right. He checks his blood sugar. He's got a meter. They get the information right away. It's sent to them automatically. He communicates with them virtually sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, and he's getting over his addiction. Yes, so I highly recommend Virta Health because a provider speaks to your nurse, connected right to a doctor. They're always available around the clock, 7 days a week. If you don't want to use Virta Health, I had recommended it to 3 different people now because I want to find out about it too. and help them, but neither one of them hooked up. $300 a month. I mean, and his wife's insurance is paying for it, but still, $300 a month to save your life. Give me a break, okay? So I highly recommend them because they connect you. If you don't want to do that, but still I highly recommend that, is you can buy a Lifestyle Libra or one of these meters, put it on your skin, and they will tell you your blood sugar on your phone anytime. And that's okay too, as long as you act on it. What's good about Virta Health is they'll keep on calling if you're not acting on it because they know what your blood sugar is. If you're not acting on it, they know. Something will be done. With these meters, I highly recommend them, but you got to act on it, okay? A lot of people are addicts, so they don't act on it, okay? And some of the health centers in town, one in town here, is kind of in this meter, and they, but I know somebody recently, their blood sugar was elevated over 300, and the thing went off, but they never called her, okay? So I kind of like Virta Health. I kind of wonder if this hospital system that's doing it is sort of pretending to be helping you, but they're not really getting rid of your disease. They're maintaining it. Remember, I don't want you to maintain the disease. I want you to get rid of it. I now, at the Western University, you take a right, you go to Washington, take a right to Lutheran, the same light, take a left, you go to Westland. They have integrative health now. I recently moved to downtown here so I could help people better. I figure that's better than moving to Florida and sitting with rich people for lunch and not helping anybody. But here I'm helping a lot of people. So I care about you, okay? And on the third floor, they got my books for all these TV shows I've done here. And thank you, Andrew Carnegie, for letting us do that for free. And that on the third floor of Westland, there's a library of 80% of my books. Yeah, and you can walk in there, and I'll teach you personally. 1 o'clock on Fridays, I'm there. Come in, don't need an appointment, and I will personally coach you how to get rid of your diabetes. After all, I declared war in it, and I'm a soldier who's serious about this to teach it. And I will show you this book here, maybe even give you a book, and that you'll get rid of it. Now, if you want to learn more, I want more information. I have an answer for that. There is a Dr. Unwin, U-N-W-I-N. They have a book. You can order it online. Very little money, but it's many reasons I like it, because it's called Fork in the Road. And Dr. Unwin now used to be a diabetic. His wife was diabetic. And she's a psychologist. Remember, sugar is addictive. So a lot of people will get rid of the diabetes, but they start eating again because the sugar addicts. That's where Virta is very helpful, because you get a personal coach. But Dr. Unwin was diabetic, his wife was diabetic, and a patient walked in one day. He didn't even recognize it. He'd been memorized a socialistic system there. He did not recognize her because she was healthy. She had connected with a lot of women online, and they get rid of their diabetes. They said, Dr. Unwin, remember him and his wife were way overweight and diabetic. Dr. Unwin, you don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? He didn't even recognize it because he had told her the wrong thing. He was eating bad food. He was in the English system. giving him pills and needles, but he was open-minded. He was open-minded, and he decided to research it. In England, they keep track of your health information from birth to death, going back 40 years. So he had a lot of statistics that he could look at of people, and he realized she was right. So him and his wife totally changed. They formed even a public health thing, Public Health Collaboration, UK.org. But if you said Apple TV shows of Dr. David and Jen Unwin, they'll show up. And watch their YouTube shows. And they have the association. I joined it for $100, and I was going to go to their conference, which was a week ago, but I have got to go see my daughter. The is that Unwin lost his weight, his wife lost her weight. She was a psychologist, and they now have had a lot of people in the English system become non-diabetic, and when they become diabetic, the cost for public health, which, remember, it's socialistic, they pay for everything, the costs are going down, but that's not the only thing Dr. Unwin's happy about. He's happy that patients are getting rid of their diabetes. Yes, so to look at his YouTube shows, maybe get this book, Fork in the Road, is very helpful. But remember, they have a meeting once a year. You can look at last year's meetings. Just look at the lectures. There's one that'll come up. It's by Benjamin Bickman. Benjamin Bickman, and he's not an MD, a PhD. He knows the chemistry of proper eating. To watch his show, that is extremely dramatic. A great show to watch. Remember, and if many other shows at the conference, you can listen to them one after the other. There was one this year. Instead of going there, remember, 2 of them on YouTube now. So I looked at one by Ken Keller, I think is his name, and what he's saying is the American Diabetic Association has been promoting diabetes. They're not curing it. I went to the conferences too. 99% of this stuff is somebody selling something. Nobody getting rid of your diabetes. I've been there. The American Diabetes Association is letting you have your disease the majority of the time. I'll say it. Call me up. Sit down next to my chair. Take me on about it. That he thinks, his real name is Dr. Ken Berry, B-E-R-R-Y, Ken Berry. And he's a lecture now on YouTube, and he spent his whole time, frankly. I think he could have said a little more, but his whole time on telling us about the American Diabetic Association, which I knew already, but you can listen to it, that he is going to form, and he already has the board members. You can't reach him online, but he's going to call it the American Diabetic Scientific Association. So they already have picked it. So soon you'll be able to Google that and it'll come up. It doesn't now because I've tried. But their lectures, Dr. Unwin speaks at it, and look at it. You'll gather, you'll never get through all the lectures that are on there, and you will know a lot about diabetes. If you feel like I need more information before I can step up to bat, do that. I live downtown Fort Wayne now, and I'm walking down the street. Many patients have seen these shows, and they'll walk up to me and say, thank you, Dr. Kachmann, I lost 30 pounds, my diabetes is gone. So what I think about these new, suppose you're way overweight, what I think of these Ozempic type drugs. So available to you on YouTube, 1-hour shows on discussing the good and the bad. There's good parts, and some people, it's the only way they're going to change, because if you take this drug, the GLP-1 agonist, okay, what they is slow your gut down. They even affect your brain, they've determined now. And people are getting rid of their, for the time being, as long as they're on the drug, getting rid of their diabetes, getting rid of their addictions to alcohol and narcotics. So they have value, but now you're still on the drug, and your bowel just sit there in the majority of the patients. And so it does have value. The problem is, how do you eventually get off of them? Otherwise, you got to inject yourself once a month. You get the drug, but there are some pills you can take now, and I think they will invent more pills and more pills. Some other drug company is going to step up soon. I recommend it'll be soon. You just take a pill a day or a pill a week. So there's value. If you're way underweight, I don't suggest you use it because you're already not eating, and now you're going to take these hormones. But if you're above a certain weight, BMI, say, over 35 or so, I think you may need to take it. But read about the side effects, because they do have side effects. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. You must know what they are. And maybe have a glucose monitor on you, that you know your blood glucose all the time. I have coming in the mail, maybe it's in my mail today, where you can measure your sugar with a watch. I already have one which I think is pretty accurate, but these are even more accurate, but it's certainly not as good as measuring it here or sticking your skin. And Verta, I think, has you stick your skin with an extremely small needle to get the blood sugar. A lot of different ways, but I think you need to have some track of what your blood sugar is. So I think for you to read Fork in the Road. One other thing I like about this book, near the back, page 144, 143, a tremendous number of websites. Tremendous number. Remember I said this has a lot of information. The Fork in the Road, phcuk.org, we know that already. Bittensaddiction.com, sugartimesglobal.com, drjoanflan.com, Robert Lustig, we've all heard of him. Addiction Unplugged, The Yoga of Eating, The Sugar Demons, Fat Chance, Robert Lustig, In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, Gabriel Mate, Processed Food Addiction, Joan Ifland et al., 2018. Just tremendous number of websites available out of this book that you could use to really get educated. Like I said, if you want to get more educated, which I think most of us would do, we would look at these websites. So in the summary, what am I saying is, I've declared war on diabetes. The American Diabetic Association, your doctors, your hospitals, they want to keep the disease. In medical school, they don't even allow me to lecture on this subject. Yeah, it's true. I've been there. Yeah, I wanted to give a talk on how family doctors, they train 90% of the people go through the medical school to be specialists. There should be 90% wellness doctors to avoid disease in the first place. They're not doing it. That probably will never change. So I want you to do some reading, look at these websites. Want to see me in person, get educated, come to my library at the Wesleyan University. But thanks for watching today. Let's sing a song and turn on the music and feel good and not eat sugary foods. Have some guacamole for breakfast. Eat two meals a day, and you'll be awfully pickable with me. No, don't do that. take a walk, sing a song. Might be a better thing to do. Thanks for watching this show. I have many other shows on YouTube, probably 800 of them or so, or come to see me in person, and I will teach it to you. Why do I do this? I care about you. I love you. And with that, I'll dance on. Namaste.